Well, hello, Mr. and Miss America and all the ships at sea. This is middle class Bay Street Dan uh, coming to you on the topic of Medicare, or medical, I should say, medical paperwork fraud. Are you aware that we got ripped off, we working Americans? Pretty much doesn't matter what your race is. But if you were an American working between 1970 and 2011, uh, you overpaid for your health coverage, uh, right around to the tune of the equivalent of the national debt. Now, I stopped calculating or counting it in 2011 because actually I was blessed with being old enough to, retire, etc. So, I think we need to be aware of what the numbers actually are. So I'm going to call myself a political commentator now. Well, because I can. And so we're going to ask another question. Why do we pay the most but die sooner? In other words, we got shorter life expectancies than our counterparts in equivalent nations. And now, in a capitalist system like we have, paying more is getting less. Actually, that equals a total market failure. See, the only way that could happen in a capitalist system, a true capitalist system, would be if there is fraud or corruption. So, if you pay more and you're getting less, hope you can figure out that's a ripoff. And, well, I'll tell you, I have been told that we've got the greatest health care system in the world. I know that because I've been told. So let's, and maybe, that's, hey, I don't know, but I've been told, hey, lottie, do. We have the greatest healthcare system in the world. Yeah, right. Now, I'll tell you what, I think Donald and Oz are on the way to keeping the Budweiser promise. Now, what is the Budweiser promise? Anyone who's gone, had a, you know, more than one, let's say. Uh, well, that was Schaefer. Um, well, there we go. The Budweiser promise. Now, I think, you know, how is the Budweiser promise uh, surface, or the American dream surface there in your life? Now here's the Donald. He seems to be scolding. See, Budweiser, they're worried about some of this social stuff, and I don't know. We got somebody there drinking a funny-looking can of Budweiser, and I don't know, but apparently it was quite an issue with the Republican Party, and but we had Donald Trump there to speak up on that, and that's the kind of thing that's about his speed. But so at any rate now, we can look forward to Trump and United Healthcare and Oz and Bobby, the poor brainworm guy, to they're going to they want to privatize Medicare is what they want to do. Uh, so has privatized health insurance really worked out for the American people? Let's continue on. Now, right there, you got a little picture there of that's supposed to be Adam Smith. Now, Adam Smith, who wrote The Wealth of Nations, uh, and gave us capitalism. Before he wrote The Wealth of Nations, he also wrote something called The Theory of Moral Sentiments. And what Adam Smith was about was he was saying, really, when we do the right thing by one another, we're all better off. And that caused Jack Kennedy to say, a rising tide lifts all boats. So in other words, we're better off when we help each other. This trickle down stuff, yeah, what trickle down? But anyway, so free market capitalism, uh, in that the invisible hand of God, because you're doing the right thing, will guide the economy of a nation to the best possible products and services at the lowest possible prices, thereby trickling down well-being to the poorly endowed. Well, that's what the theory is. That's what's supposed to happen when common sense reigns or rules. But I'll tell you, I think we've been getting a lot of bluster and BS. Maybe the Budweiser promise on that one, because, whether it be Congress or the Supreme Court, there's a clue for you. Well, I think we've been paying more for health coverage and getting less, because we're dying sooner. I mean, you got people out there killing themselves. They're sick of it. Now, I'll tell you, if an auto insurance company charges you for more than another, would you be wasting your money, of course? So, we're number one at something. I'm not entirely sure what. Let's move on. So, I'll tell you what, if you, we've had politicians claim to care about bait and switch operations where they lure you in with a low price and then they tell you got to do this, you got to do that. You ever go shopping there for health insurance and they tell you all this stuff that you got to do? Oh, you got to add this on, you got to add that on. It's all freaking nonsense. Why do I want to waste my freaking time doing what actually should be considered a human right in, again, comparative nations? So, if I have a talent, let's say at maybe plumbing. Remember Joe the plumber, right? Did Joe the plumber really want to spend all day figuring out which health insurance plan is best? No, it's basically let's pay and be assured that our mind should be at ease, that they're going to, give us, that we're not going to be denied, insurance claims. But at any rate, let's say, I'll tell you what, with capitalism, if you pay more, you're supposed to get more. But I'll tell you what's really been going on is we've been paying more and we've been getting less. Now, again, that's total market failure or corruption. There's really something wrong there. So, yes, we pay more. We pay the most for medical paperwork processing. And I tell you, I'm not going to call these AHIP operators health insurance companies because, hey, claim denied, denied, delay, all the rest of that. All right, so now, you go to the doctor and, you went to a guy, he's not in network. Is your illness in network? Maybe they'll come up with that as a question. Now, how about does your family have bad DNA? Yeah, I gotta wonder, if you paid up front for a caterer, he's supposed to deliver something, and then, he never shows up with the food, and you find out he does that all the time. Wouldn't that tell you that, maybe this guy thinks he's connected to somebody special in government, that he doesn't get shut down? But again, claim denied, we didn't know when you ordered the pizza that you actually wanted some cheese on it. So let's continue on here. Well, this one over here, healthcare spending by populous countries, it says. And what this chart will show, and this happens to be from like a one of these world fact books. It's just a page, global healthcare spending, and from the World Health Organization way back in 2002. And you're going to see as a percent of GDP, gross domestic product, we Americans, we're spending at 13%, whereas other countries that might be equivalent, United Kingdom, 7.3%. How about the Canadians, 9.1%? There it is over there. And so, let's get honest about this stuff. We're spending more, and we've been doing that for a long time. And over here, I'll tell you what, even, so we're number one spenders on as a part of GDP, known as the gross domestic product. And spending a lot of money on medical paperwork. Let's remember that stifles other parts of our economy. So the people that are lobbying Congress repeatedly to keep that AHIP cartel, America's for-profit insurance operators, they're preventing us from growing other parts of our economy. They're stifling American innovation. See, but it's basically the war. We waste a heck of a lot there on this gross domestic product. And forgive me, but I remember when my poor mother was dying, she was bedridden, et cetera, and made a lot of trips from the deathbed to, the toilet there. Well, here's some statistics. 2022, look at that. We're spending over $12,000 a person on health care in the United States, and which is $4,000 more. That's 33% more than comparable countries. Now, and again, that's 2022. Well, we were spending too much 20 years ago. That's right, because that was on the previous slide. Now, we can say that these higher prices are being caused by physician salaries. But I'll tell you what, my cardiologist tells me, and I've had other doctors tell me too, that they're not doing so well, and that not as many doctors own their own practices as used to. And that's because the big money is driving them out of businesses. So your doctors and nurses are making less relatively now today than they used to. Real problem right there in the paperwork cost. See, when the for-profit insurance companies, they make up new rules, your hospital, your doctor's office, has to fly more paper airplanes for the medical paperwork processing industry. And by the way, if you are, well, I'll tell you what, you got to have some money to really get the health care. And if you got to, if you're a single mother or a waitress, heaven help you when it comes to health care coverage. You may pay for a plan and get nothing when you put in the claim. So now Trump says the world is laughing at us. Of course they're laughing at us. Take a look at how much we're spending on health care. It's way the heck up. And there's the study. Now this was done by KFF. I thank Kaiser Family Foundation And now they did an analysis. I think OECD. Now, if you're a real MAGA Trump lover, you're a Republican, you know that you gotta love OECD. They are the ones. I mean, they're factual. They deal with facts. So, well, by the way, I want to take this opportunity to establish my right wing connection. Because there I was when I was a little younger, pretty damn happy. Thumbs up, hey, right? And impeached Clinton because, he was having a good time there in the Oval Office. Uh, Seems he lied about it. Hey, things have changed a hell of a lot, right? So, United we stand and blah, 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 so we're all worried about morality. So what's happened here? But I've been a right winger from a way back. So, if I'm saying that well, I'll tell you what, I mean, I'm just looking at the numbers and we're getting ripped off on this healthcare thing. I mean, we're paying too damn much. That's it. Why don't we do something about it? Throw these bums out. I mean, arrest them, jail them, throw them out. Now, here we go. And here's one that I really love that we got. Well, there's Bobby eating a brain worm or something. I don't know what's in that stuff. I mean, I don't know what but they say that some of that, those burgers from that McDee's outfit could last, through a nuclear war. You hear all kinds of things about that. And I recommend you all look into how, some of the preservatives in that fast food, and maybe you could buy, some of that stuff in the fall, and you don't have to eat it until the following spring. You just heat it right up. But so they're all grinning, and some bimbo or bimbette, I should say, who was strolling around there that Trump dump plane or whatever it is. What about Oh my God! So their plan for us apparently has something to do with. They sure like that freaking fast food stuff. I thought there was something wrong there. Really, let's consider what's going on here. You know, uh, Melania had. I like that when she had her. I really don't care, do you, jacket. That was something with those immigrant families. The kids being ripped away from their parents, and she said, "I really don't care to you." So let's just keep in mind. Let's ask about some of the people who really don't care in history. Now, the Romans, uh, privileged Romans. I mean, if you were in with the in crowd, uh, I guess it was weekends, maybe Sundays. I don't know when they did it, but you'd go off to the Colosseum and you could watch some gladiators fight to the death. I mean, now look, did you really freaking care? You had a good time? Slaves, losers, lesser, people that are less than, the pawns, you watch them fight to the death. Now, did they care? No. Now, how about the slave traders? Did they care when they packed uh, human beings into the hulls of their ships like they were sardines? I mean, the slave traders didn't care. Now, did Marie Antoinette care? She didn't care. Now, how about the European royal aristocrats of the 1700s? Did they care? Well, I tell you what, we got Trump and Musk. They want to bring back uh, the aristocracy. The divine right of royalty. I don't know. To me, I don't need it. I'd rather be an American with the right to speak, the right to vote, and I'd like my vote to count, not for it to be uh, not to be overrun by the filthy rich, the 1%. So now, our health plan, we Americans, we die sooner. But let's take a look at what goes on. We eat all kinds of junk food that's laden with sugar and preservatives that improve profits for the people who invest in food and fast food. It extends the shelf life. But what's it do? It clogs up the arteries of the suckers eating that crap. But I can't believe that they'd really, make serve bad food to us. And then what they do is, now, you see, you're running between jobs to try to make ends meet. Remember the yards, they sent all the, they might have sent manufacturing over to China because they could get cheap labor. At any rate, so they charge us a hell of a lot for these health care plans, and then they deny coverage. Now, what happens then? You see, we get medical debt. That's where, even though you've paid off more than 50% of your house, but now that you're sick and your claims are being denied, well, I'll tell you what, the banker comes along, he takes your house because you haven't been paying your mortgage. Wow, that's a real bonus. And that banker, when he says he really doesn't want your house, if he doesn't want your house, you shouldn't take it. But the statistics are out there on that one too. Why don't you look it up for yourself? Now, so what we've got here is operators like United Healthcare. They've been making great profits. AHIP, which is their little trade organization, a cartel, whatever you want to call them. The junk food industry, and actually their friends in the financial sector, that's the banks. Those are the people on Wall Street don't want to be regulated. They take a little portion of their profits that they're making, and what do? They invest it in government. And I tell you, really, if you really want to, invest and make money, I tell you what, bribe a government official. Is that, tell you, just call it a campaign donation, and you'll get a great return on your money, because that's what the rich do. The royalty, America's royalty, the 1%. So in other words, let's, and by the way, those clowns, the elites, the royalty, the 1%, they've always understood that to stay in control, they must shape what we workers think. And so at the end of the day, the work day, if there is an end, if you don't have to go from being assistant manager at one dump to another assistant manager or manager in waiting at some other place, and you're in the bar there with the Budweiser Promise, be sure to talk really talk it up, give it the old American dream and all the rest of that. So, be a man, be macho. It's, the problem is the other guy. Let's continue on. So at any rate, now, here's another study that's just showing, we pay way to hell more. And this is, I think this study may come out of Canada. And so, as you can see, there's a bunch of other countries that are all part of the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development. So, Harry, I'll tell you, we pay more. There it is again. Can't deny it. Unless you want to, you see, because if you're a real Trumper, we got the, the fake news guy. You get your info from, let's say, the National Enquirer. Now, we know that he was convicted of falsifying documents uh, in the business, making up fake news. I mean, he is the king of fake news along with the National Enquirer. But, some people only like their news if it is fake, so they're considered delusional. They're working on the Budweiser promise. Okay, so let's get to the heart of the matter. So here's the claim of that the money being wasted between the years I studied, 1970 and 2011. I claim that that's still valid. I mean, but it is, why beat a dead horse, so to speak? If you put into tables, charts, and made a graph of the United States national debt and the amount of overspending that we Americans, the money that we're putting out, as compared to our Canadian counterparts. If you graphed all that, you'd see that the two would be relatively parallel, with at least uh, up to 2011 when I stopped the graph. Now, I maintain it's still valid. Uh, you'd actually see that the waste on health issues and stuff is actually greater than the national debt. Now, we know that if you ask any responsible parent, a dietitian, or a doctor, they tell you to avoid junk food. Uh, but actually, what goes on is we see this stuff peddled all over the place, and we see this Trump character with pushing his junk food. He's even got uh, his buddy Bobby, the worm guy, eating it, etc. But I'll tell you what, it's like that the burden of all this sickness caused by bad foods, foods with all kinds of uh, preservatives in them, and the processed foods. The real cost is just out of this world, because really uh, we also got the waste of the money that is being uh, it is stifling our economy. So it's like we have. So really, that national debt clock should be just called the national rip-off clock. And it's like we got a socialism here for these investors in the junk food industry. Uh, the crap foods, and then actually they got their friends too that, of course, then benefit uh, as we lose our homes because our arteries are clogged from all of this nonsense. Uh, but now I'll tell you what. See, so uh, I think it's time that we tax those peckers. Uh, I find it curious that I could be fined for if I don't clear the snow off my sidewalk when we get snow. Uh, but these characters don't get fined for all the damage that they do. So uh, I think it's time to start fining these characters like they're polluters, because they are. They're polluting our bodies. Now, actually, I even think it would be time and appropriate to just shut down, put them out of business, the for-profit medical paperwork industry, and let's start working down and paying down the national debt. Now, I'll tell you what, because, if we did that, we could free up all kinds of resources to pursue other ventures and innovation. And let's remember, COVID came along out of nowhere. And I'll tell you, many died. About 1 million Americans died. Uh, it wasn't handled well at all. I mean, the cat got out of the bag. Kellyanne told us that the viruses contain Ha. All right, but here's the point. That table that we got right here, it shows it in well, if we look at 1970 to 2011, that while the national debt was at around 15 trillion, what we had wasted as compared to our, or overpaid as compared to our Canadian counterparts, was actually up around near 17 trillion. So let's move on here. So, uh, how's this work? It's actually this spreadsheet over on the left. First, we got the year. Then we got the United States population, which was growing in this time. Remember, we started doing 1970s, and we had baby boomers, and we had baby boomers making more babies. Then the next column is the what Canadians are paying per capita. That means on the average each. What Canadians are paying for health-related issues. Then we got what we Americans are paying, which is a heck of a lot more. And then we've got the cumulative total. So in 1970, when I started, we overpaid to the tune of, I guess that was about uh, 10 billion, and then it just keeps going on and on. And so let's take a look. It's like the very first year, we were paying $53 more than a Canadian. And we had a little over 200,000 Americans, so you $53 times 200 million. Well, there you are. There's your 10,936,000. So that's a heck of a lot of money. Now, so that's what we lost in 1970 because we didn't have a national health plan. And the next year, we're paying apparently $76 more, $76.60 more than a Canadian. And now there's something like, I say, 208,000 Americans. So we multiply that $76.60 by 208,000, and we get a number that comes out to near 16 billion. Well, naturally we add the that 16 billion to the 10 billion from 1970, and our cumulative total 1971. Now we're up to overpaying to the tune of 26 billion. So of course now what we do is we're going to run that all the way up to 2011, when just freaking kind of let it go, because the problem really wasn't getting any better, and Obama's trying to do something like get a public option, and we're being sold down the freaking river by who was it, Bacchus? These clowns. They're owned by the rich, by the 1%. So that medical paperwork cartel, they call themselves a trade group. They know it takes money to stay in control, so they've invested a heck of a lot in our politicians, that's for sure. Let's move on. All right, so actually there's just a chart, and I'll tell you right there, it's telling you that we got data collected from the United States Census Bureau, Kaiser Family Foundation, and the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development. So, we roll it on, click, click, and let's click it again, see where we are. Here we are. And we got our totals. We've overspent about 17 trillion, and the national debt in 2011 is only 15 trillion. Well, if we didn't get overcharged so bad, we wouldn't have had any national debt. That's at least the way I look at it. So, let's get after these peckers, so to speak. These fake news characters. This, again, royalty-controlled press that we have should be making everybody aware of this, and they don't. Now, right here, there's our national debt, and as you see, 2011 there, well, I'll tell you what. You really think that the bankers want us to pay off the debt? Really, aren't they just going to be kind of happy letting us continue to pay, charging us all kinds of interest on this debt? You've heard our friends, the R's, cry, oh my God, the interest on the debt. Well, I'll tell you what. The bankers don't want you to pay off your house. They let you eat junk food. Then when your claims are denied, you lose your house. Come on. They want all your property. They want Americans to be renters for life. And I'll tell you, the last time we had renters, well, you'd have to go all the way back to feudalism, where the peasants had to pay his lordship to work the land, because his lordship owned all the land. See, that's where Trump and Musk want to go in their kind. So, what can I say? Now, by the way, we got, if you want to check up on my numbers, find yourself some of these world almanacs. They're all over the place. And now, I know a lot of big Wall Street Journal readers, intellectual Republicans, would say, oh, look, it says New York Times bestseller. Well, it's like, that doesn't mean the information is wrong, people. So what you can do is, you can go to the library if the new brown shirt administration and that clown Musk haven't banned books that have facts from the libraries. I mean, they're pretty big on their, and actually, though, if you don't like information, well, if you feel that the United States government cannot be trusted on any of the statistics or studies that they run, or the Kaiser Foundation can't be trusted, or the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development can't be trusted, well, maybe you could try Pecker with his National Enquirer. They do Donald Trump approved news facts. Or you could try Fox News. What could I say? Let's move on. If you're too cheap to buy one of those old world almanacs, or to maybe even buy a new one, why don't you just go online and you can check out uh, Internet Archive? You see, actually, this one I had used it before, which tells us something about how much we were overspending in the year 2002, and actually these world fact books are so thick. I mean, it's just hard getting a page out of one into the computer. So I just did a screen grab there from Internet Archive, and so I thanked them, and they got Internet Archive is a great source of material that's been produced over the years. So let's continue on. Now, and of course, uh, uh, purchasing power parity. Please notice that the standard, according to this Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, you may want to look in and find out who they are. I mean, can they be trusted? But it seems that the U.S. dollar is the standard with which other currencies are compared. Let's continue on. All right, so we're number one. All right, let's see. We're number one in paying the most for these health services, whatever they may be. All right, now, countries ranked by life expectancy. Well, I think as we take a look, look at our former enemies, now our friends, our allies, Japan. It sure looks like, the Japanese got, Hong Kong, they got the longest life expectancy, followed by Japan. And look, in all these cases, it seems that females live longer than males. And maybe I think the MAGA crowd, very concerned about all this gender stuff with the culture wars. And I think Trump and Vance have talked about how your kid could go off to school, a boy, and return as a girl. Well, right here, there you got it. That. So if you got a school that's operated by the AHIP crowd, maybe you might have your son go to school in the morning as a boy, and then return as a girl. I mean, because look, you live longer. So maybe they're on to something with that. So, but the only thing is, we're number one. I say I don't see us having the longest life expectancies. Now, well, I tell you, there we are. Hey, we're number 48. We're number 48. We're number 48. Okay, so I'll tell you, we stomped Croatia, Slovakia. We nailed them. We beat the hell out of them. We're number 48. That's really something to be proud of. Wow, we're number 48 in life expectancy. Says a lot for all that spending. And, now let's see what year. Whatever year this is from, we're about 2.5 years behind our Canadian counterparts when it comes to life expectancy. And I tell you, we already know we're paying a hell of a lot more, but we ain't living as long. I wonder where did that info come from? Well, let's check it out. All right. Oh, here's another some graphs from the Kaiser Family Foundation, and they're telling us that they have checked out things with the CDC. Uh, the Australians, the Japanese, and the United Kingdom. So, they've actually done quite a bit of research. And what do we have here? It seems that we've got a little drop, a major dip right around here. Well, what happened here? It looks like this is when the COVID hit. All right, so when the COVID hit, we got a major dip in life expectancy. I mean, we're dying left and right. That's like, wow, we're killing the hell up. And what's really curious about this over here is in the year 2020, the beginning of the year, do you remember how Kellyanne told us? The virus is contained. The virus is contained. Everybody, come on, say it. Virus is contained. You don't need to take any precautions. Virus is contained. And, well, I'll tell you what, it looks like we listened and we died. Too bad, That's like, we're like Dorfman. He trusted those clowns. So, actually, by the end, as we kind of just focus right in there, and you see the major dip. We died at rates much higher than our counterparts, others who are in that organization for economic cooperation and development. In other words, other industrialized democracy, so to speak. Well, maybe the democracy around here, maybe we just don't have it anymore, but we do have our chance, like the virus is contained. And, whoa, with that, in that time period, we have been falling 2-3 years behind other nations in our life expectancies. But I'll tell you, when with that virus is contained nonsense, boom, we took a dip. We were dying 5.9 years sooner than, let's say, our counterparts. And I think the bleach didn't work. Well, heaven help us. I'll tell you, I hope this a bird flu thing doesn't get out there. I mean, for the birds. And look at who we got coming in there. He's where did he go to school? Studio 54. I mean, some of these clowns. Unbelievable. And again, now another thing though, just on the life expectancies, uh, let me say something to my black friends, is when you're born, if you want to live longer, try not to be born black. Because, well, again, this is just another shot here from the, actually, I think the movie that I saw that in was The Other Guys. It was a comedy about Wall Street ripoffs, and these detectives are telling the kids they're in the schoolroom, and they're telling the kids about being it safe, and if approached by an officer of the law, try not to look black. That's what the cops told the kids, and so that was an interesting thought there, and I'm trying to pass along some interesting ideas. All right, well, here's a graph and some info from the Canadians, uh, and they're doing a little bit of griping, well, because they're claiming that their health insurance costs are going up. But right there, there's the United States, so we're way out there. Uh, we're spending uh, almost 20% of our GDP each year on health matters. And I'll tell you what, how come we're spending so much more? Or I got to ask, why are we spending so much more than other nations? And actually, that difference of like 5%, uh, how much, that's a major part of our economy that's being stifled because uh, we're spending too much, damn much, on medical paperwork processing. So let's get rid of that waste and stimulate another part of our economy. But actually, you see, those in control, the rich, the elite, the 1%, United Healthcare and others are very, very profitable. They're making more money uh, with this so-called, health insurance denial system. Well, that's what it is. It's a denial system. Uh, they're cleaning up. So they don't want change. And we know that they gave a heck of a lot to Trump. And that's why we get this here surprise results where we have this uh, dangerous and yet, but not really serious man or person or creature leading us. There's something wrong with the guy. Now the Canadians, they're griping that they're spending too much, but now they should be real happy because now Trump apparently wants to adopt Canada as a state. Wow, think of that, Canadians, our friends to the north. You could have the same for-profit health insurance system, as we have. Now we know you got rid of that nonsense. How many years ago? Uh, 55 years ago, was it? Or was it more? Let's see, 30. Yeah, that's about 55 years ago. So, you got like Donald Trump, he's going to come out, he's going to march on up there. And I think that he might be a little jealous. He saw Putin march into Ukraine and claimed that it's, his territory, be historically. And I mean, there was a time we didn't have all these borders and stuff up there with Canada, and, he's just going to claim the whole North American continent, maybe. But I don't know if he wants Mexico though, but he's talking about grabbing some other spots. I think he wants Panama Canal too. Very interesting. But at any rate, well, Canadians, I'll tell you what. If you want to gripe, watch out. You might just those of you like Trump, you may get him. Heaven help you. And there we go, people. A bunch of resources. It's what I love about being alive today is actually we now have the library at our fingertip. Um, you can do research, you can study, you can look into history, you can look at philosophy, how to enjoy life. And I tell you, personally, I enjoy life as an American, able to speak my mind. I figure let me speak my mind while we still can, because I tell you, you got a lot of Second Amendment people that ain't too happy with those of us who exercise First Amendment rights. Well, we'll see how that goes. And I tell you what, if you're thinking that it might be immoral to have money invested in the for-profit health insurance system, not actually doing the job of getting people well, but actually just invested in flying the paper airplanes around. If you're going to pull your money out of that, I mean, maybe you want to invest it in, buying some brown shirts. Now that we got Musk and some of these other clowns, like Donald's, wants to set up like a little triumvirate with himself and his billionaire buddies and all this and this nonsense. Well, look, everybody have fun. I know I'm looking forward to making more of these, and hey, what could I say? Enjoy the day. God bless. Goodbye for now. So long.